Some thoughts from my digital journalism students about where we're starting and the connection between the theory and the practices that we are attempting to weave together in this class. If, as Kovacs and Rosenstiel say in The Elements of Journalism, the central purpose of journalism is to tell the truth so that people will have the information they need to be sovereign, then journalism, no matter what form the business takes or the practices the journalists adopt, is essentially a matter of making sure that we have citizens that can govern themselves. James Madison talked about sources of popular information for a popular government, and his words are carved in marble at the Library of Congress today. But as the U.S. became a more complex and industrial nation at the beginning of the 20th century, in the 1920s, we talked about the argument between Walter Lippmann and John Dewey. Lippmann pointing out how sheep-like Americans seem to be, how ignorant and easily misled they are, how they are transfixed by a spectacle that is manipulated by others, and therefore we need some kinds of experts to govern for us. Dewey, in his review and his response to that, pointed out that it's possible that we could change our institutions, that the social habits around knowledge that are required for a democracy, that is, citizens who are not easily misled and who are not ignorant, could be changed not by changing human nature, but by improving human institutions. If we had better journalism, if we had better education, then maybe Lippmann's fears could somehow be ameliorated. Dewey was really talking about the intersection of the social and what we constitute to be knowledge. Social habits surrounding knowledge must be transformed if we are to be governed by citizens rather than elites. That means that in Dewey's terms, there must be a habit and an ability to participate, and not just a passive spectatorship on the part of citizens. He meant that we require education and good journalism to support the widespread use of a particular mode of thought, in which critical curiosity, thoughtfulness, and tolerance to new ideas democratize the ability to think like a scientist, to think the way that experts do. Kovacs and Rosenstiel also said, the new journalist is no longer deciding what the public should know. She is helping audiences make order out of it. This does not mean simply adding interpretation or analysis to news reporting. The first task of the new journalist / sense-maker, rather, is to verify what information is reliable and then order it so people can grasp it efficiently. In the other text that we started with, Clay Shirky's Here Comes Everybody, he talks about a fundamental change of which journalism is only one of the essential practices that are going to be profoundly affected, or are already being profoundly affected by the change that has happened when we dramatically lower the costs of people coordinating their action on large scales, to do things together, to do what sociologists call collective action in ways that they weren't able to do before. And one thing that means is that that in a world where everybody can report, finding out which of those reports matter and are true, and helping people make sense of them becomes an unavoidable part of the journalist's tasks. So that brings us to what we're doing in class, where we started learning RSS last week. We started talking about the role of journalism in informing citizens, and the need for an agency on the part of citizens, an ability to participate. I hope that students apply the tools we use in this course in 5 interrelated kinds of activities that I've tried to build into the syllabus: research, reflection, collaboration, presentation, and networking. Those of you who will be the journalists of the 21st century and not just citizen reporters or commentators will need to understand the ways changes in media affect each of these activities. RSS and social bookmarking you will be using for research, personal learning journal wiki pages for reflection, group project wiki pages for collaboration, blogs, maps, and widgets for presentation, Twitter and social bookmarking for networking. The connection with the Lippmann-Dewey debate concerns the role of the passive or the participative citizen in a democracy and what it takes to activate that potential in a sustainable democracy. The new tools directly address old theoretical debates. The question of this age is not who owns the printing presses, but who informs and persuades others in a world where everybody has a global multimedia printing press, broadcasting station, marketplace, community center, political organizing tool on their desktop or in their pocket. Each of these texts speaks in some way to the changing relationships between the technological, the social, and the institutional aspects of news gathering and journalistic communication.